Hello guys, welcome back to Sapima tutorial. Today we want to continue our lesson on quadratic equation, but we are considering completing the square method as one of the methods of simplifying quadratic equation. So here we have the general form of a quadratic equation, which we will use to derive the formula for quadratic equation, the almighty formula as some call it, which is minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac all over 2a. Now with this equation, we derive this formula, and in our next video, I will show you how to apply this formula to simplify quadratic equation. When we are done with this, we now consider using completing the square method to simplify these two equations. Now, given a type of quadratic equation, the first thing you do is to carry your constant across the equality sign. Then we have ax squared plus bx equal to minus c. Then use the coefficient of x squared to divide all two. That is a. This will cancel. Then we now have x squared plus b over ax equal to minus c over a. And when you have done that, get the half of the coefficient of x and then square it. Add it to the both sides of the equation. Now the coefficient of x squared is b over a. The half of it is multiplying by 1 over 2. If you multiply here, you will have 1b over 2a. Now get the square of this fraction. We'll have b over 2a all squared. Alright, so having gotten this, add it to the both sides of the equation. Then we'll have x squared plus b over ax plus b over 2a all raised to the power 2 equal to minus c over a plus b over 2a all squared. I've added the fraction to the both sides of the equation. Then the next thing we do is to simplify the left hand side separately and simplify the right hand side separately. Then for the left hand side, take the factor of this quadratic expression. This is just a quadratic expression if you cover here, and it's a perfect expression because here is square, here is square. How do we do that? Take these two terms and square it outside. X plus b over 2a all squared. If you expand this bracket now, you are getting back this expression. But take note that the sign you are putting here must be the sign we have here. So if here is negative, then you will have negative here. Then to the right hand side, expand the bracket and add using LCM. I will have minus c over a plus b squared will give me b squared, 2a squared will give me 4a squared. Let's add using LCM. The LCM of a and 4a squared is 4a squared. Now if 4a squared is divided by a, I will have 4a times c. I will have minus 4ac. Then 4a squared divides 4a squared. I will have 1. Multiply b squared. I will have b squared. Then we can rearrange here so that the negative will go inside. Then we'll bring the left hand side. We'll have x plus b over 2a all squared. The next thing we do is to eliminate this square here. To eliminate it, take the square root of the both sides. I will have x plus b over 2a equal to the square root of, don't forget to put plus or minus because we are solving quadratic equations. We have b squared plus 4ac over 4a squared. Alright, then the next now is to simplify here so that this 4, I will remove the square root from 4a squared. I'll have x plus b over 2a equal to plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. Then 4 square root of 4 is 2. Square root of a squared is a. Alright, so we have reduced this to its square root. So having achieved this, the next thing we do is to carry this b over 2a across the equality sign so that x will stay alone. So I'll have x equal to minus b over 2a. It is positive here, so if it crosses the equality sign, it becomes negative, plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now consider this denominator. We have a common denominator, and when you have a common denominator, you can add the numerators and put one of the denominators. So I will have x to be equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right. When you have 1 over 2 plus 3 over 2, the denominators are common, so you can take 1 and add the numerators. That's what I've just done. This b and then this root had to come together and then under the same common denominator. And if you look at this now, you discover we have gotten this general form of a quadratic equation, the formula. All right. So this is how we do that. We'll be solving example B and C using completing the square method, and with that you'll get to understand it better. To simplify this, using completing square method, the first thing we do is to carry the constants across. I will have x squared minus 7x equal to 10 will cross and become minus 10, because 0 minus 10 will give me minus 10. Then we use the coefficient of x squared to divide all two. But since the coefficient here is 1, I need not to do that. So the next thing I'll do is to get the coefficient of x, find the half of it, and square that half of it, adding it to the both sides of the equation. Now I'll have 7. This half of 7 is multiplying by 1 over 2, and this will give me 7 over 2. Then square it. If I square it, I will have 7 over 2 squared. Add it to the both sides of the equation. I'll have x squared minus 7x plus 7 over 2 all squared equal to minus 10 plus 7 over 2 squared. Next thing we do is to factorize the left hand side. To factorize, since I have a perfect square expression, this is square, and then the extreme, the other extreme is square. We call this a perfect square expression. To factorize here, take this term and this term without the square, put a 1 bracket and square it outside. So I'll have x minus 7 over 2 all squared. We are using the sign here and not the sign here. Any sign you have here, put it here. Equal to, this is minus 10 plus 7 squared is 49, 2 squared is 4. So let's simplify this left hand side by LCM. So let's say I do 1. My LCM is 4. 4 divided by 1 is 4. 4 times minus 10 is minus 40. 4 divided by this 4 is 1. 1 times 49 is 49. Then we add minus 49 plus 49 will give me 9. So I'll have 9 over 4 equal to, bring this one down, x minus 7 over 2 all squared. Then the next thing we do is to remove this square. How do we do that? Take the square root of the both sides. I'll have x minus 7 over 2 equal to square root of plus or minus 9 over 4. I've taken the square root of the two sides, all right, so that this square will cancel the square root. We now have square root of 9 over 4. But you have to put plus or minus because we are solving quadratic equation. So I'll have x minus 7 over 2 to be equal to plus or minus 3 over 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 4 is 2. Then make x the subject formula. That means this guy will cross over the other side. So I will have x to be equal to, since it is negative, it will cross as positive, plus or minus 3 over 2. Here we are. The next thing we say is that we have two denominators that are the same. So take 1. I will have x equal to 7 plus or minus 3 over 2. Then you can separate this as 7 plus 3 over 2 or 7 minus 3 over 2. If you add here, you have 10 over 2. If you subtract here, you have 4 over 2. Then you divide. Dividing, I will have 5 or 2. Therefore, my x is gotten as 5 or 2. This is the method of completing the square method. I will solve the last one to concretize the knowledge you have already gotten. Finally, we solve this. Now, the constant had already been taken to the right-hand side. So the first thing I'm going to be doing here is dividing through by the coefficient of the x squared. This will cancel. Then I'll have x squared plus 8 over 5x equal to 2 over 5. Then bring out the coefficient of x. Find the half of it and square. The coefficient of x is 8 over 5. Then find the square of it. That's multiplying by half. We'll have 1 times 8 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. Then square it. Add it to the both sides of the equation. So I'll have x squared plus 8 over 5x plus this one now, 8 over 10 or raised to power 2 equal to, we have 2 over 5 this side plus 8 over 10 squared. Having added, factorize the left hand side using the idea of perfect square expression. Here is square, here is square. So I'll take the terms without the square. Then I'll square it outside. Then we bring down the right hand side. We can open the bracket now as 64 over 100. Square of 10 is 100, square of 8 is 64. If we act on 64 over 100, we are going to be having 16 over 25. That is dividing here and here. We have 16 over 25. So let us add it. 2 over 5 plus 16 over 25. The LCM is 25. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 25 divided by 5, 25 is 1 times 16. I will have 16. Adding here, I will have 36 over 25. So let's bring it down here. I'll have x plus 8 over 10 all squared equal to 36 over 25. Then the next thing we do is to remove this square by finding the square root of the both sides. So if I do the square root of the both sides, and the square root will cancel the square, so that I will have x plus 8 over 10 equal to plus or minus square root of 36 is 6, square root of 25 is 5. Then we collect like terms. This guy will come across. I will have x will be equal to minus 8 over 10 plus or minus 6 over 5. Then we can add the both of them by LCM. Alright, the LCM is 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 1 times 8 is 8. Plus or minus 10 divided by 5 is 2. Multiplying this, we'll have 12. So to get my answer now, I'll separate the plus and minus. So I'll have minus 8 plus 12 over 10, or the minus 8 minus 12 over 10. Minus 8 plus 12 will give me positive 4 over 10. Minus 8 minus 12 will give me a negative 20 over 10. Then if we divide here, I will have 2 over 5. If I divide here and here, I will have 2. Okay, that's negative 2. So my x is either 2 over 5 or negative 2. If you want to confirm, carry these two factors one at a time, put in this equation, you will get 2. Or you bring 2 inside as 5x squared plus 8x minus 2 equal to 0. If you put any of the two of them into this equation, then you will obtain 0 for this expression. Thank you very much for coming on board. Please do not forget to subscribe to my page, like my videos, and share my contents to your friends. A lot of people need to see this video and learn from what you have benefited. God bless you. Bye-bye.